There is a sad story about a wealthy family that has a son with autism. Unfortunately, they mistreat him, lock him inside, and abuse him greatly. However, the family later discovers a deep secret about their son. The story begins with Mr. Idahosa and his wife returning from the airport after picking up their other son, Nonso, who has just completed his business studies at Oxford University. His mother warmly welcomes him, and it's clear the family loves Nonso very much. After that, they sat at the dining room and eat together while chatting. Mr. Idahosa praises Nonso a lot and expresses how proud he is to have a son like him. At that very moment, their other son, Osaze, shows up. Osaze has autism. Mr. Idahosa becomes visibly upset after seeing his other son. Mrs. Idahosa calls the housemaid, Blessing, to take Osaze back to his room. Blessing comes and explains that she had stepped out briefly, that's why came out. She is instructed to return him to his room. Blessing takes him back, scolding him harshly. Nonso asks her to be gentle and not to treat his brother that way, but no one listens to him. After that, Mr. Idahosa says he's lost his appetite and walks off to his room. Meanwhile, Blessing is in the room with Osaze, yelling at him, but Osaze remains silent and says nothing. He stands by the window, counting days. Blessing leaves him there and walks away. Mrs. Idahosa then follows her husband and tells him, "That was not a good welcome for Nonso. You know you shouldn't have walked away like that." Mr. Idahosa says that every time he sees his son, he remembers that he has a son with autism, and he admits he doesn't like Osaze at all. He insists that Osaze should be locked in his room and not allowed to come out. Mrs. Idahosa agrees and says she will make sure that happens. Elsewhere, a young woman named Minnie arrives at her cousin's house. Her cousin, Oreva, welcomes her warmly. We learn that Oreva has quit her job as a primary school teacher and applied for a new job in caregiving for people with special needs. Minnie asks if Oreva thinks she can handle that kind of work. Oreva confidently says she can, so she applies for the job, despite Minnie's discouragement. Later, back at the Idahosa's house, Blessing brings food for Osaze, but he refuses to eat. Blessing tries to force him, but he remains silent. She clearly doesn't care about him and tells him, "I've brought you food. If you want to eat, if you don't want, it's your choice." Then she walks away. Osaze, meanwhile, is busy writing in a notebook. After leaving the room, Blessing goes straight to the security guard. While they chat, she mentions she's planning to quit the job because she's overworked. The guard tries to convince her to stay. Blessing agrees, but says if things get worse, she'll definitely leave. That same day, Oreva arrives at the Idahosa home, having been sent by the caregiving agency where she applied. As she walks into the house, she sees Osaze looking out the window and waves at him, but he appears preoccupied. She enters the house and is welcomed by Mrs. Idahosa since her husband is at work. Mrs. Idahosa tells Oreva that the job is to take care of someone with autism. Oreva is shocked, saying her agency never told her that. She thought she was coming to care for someone who was sick or elderly, and she has no formal training in handling people with autism. Mrs. Idahosa clarifies that she doesn't need to treat him, just take care of him. Oreva responds that she can't take the job. Mrs. Idahosa tells her to leave if she can't do it, and so Oreva walks out. While outside, she sees Osaze again and waves goodbye. He just looks at her. After a short while, Oreva returns and tells Mrs. Idahosa that she has decided to take the job after all. When asked why she changed her mind, Oreva simply says she doesn't know. Mrs. Idahosa agrees to let her start. From that point, Oreva becomes Osaze's caregiver. Later on, Blessing and Oreva are both in Osaze's room. As usual, Blessing yells at and mistreats Osaze, but Oreva tells her to stop. Blessing refuses to listen, though she's happy to no longer be responsible for Osaze. She explains to Oreva how to take care of him, and Oreva listens carefully. She notices that the utensils used to serve Osaze are in very poor condition. Oreva asks Blessing if these are the same dishes the rest of the family uses. Blessing says no, they would never eat from such plates. Oreva is shocked. Blessing tells her to leave the room. Later that night, Oreva had returned home and was talking with Minnie. She told her that she got a job with Mr. Idahosa's family, a very wealthy family, and Mr. Idahosa is a prominent politician. Minnie was surprised because she knew the family. Minnie asked Oreva if she had seen Nonso. Nonso is very popular among women, and many wish to be in a relationship with him. People believe Mr. Idahosa has only one son, Nonso, but they don't know the truth. Later, we see Oreva searching online how to care for people with autism so she can take good care of Osaze. It's clear she really cares about him. The next morning, Oreva arrives at her work. Blessing turns on the lights to wake up Osaze, but as soon as he sees the light, he screams loudly. Oreva asks Blessing, "What's wrong? Why is he screaming?" Blessing replies, "He's always like this every morning when I wake him up." Oreva disagrees and decides to turn off the light, and Osaze calms down. But Blessing turns the light back on, and Osaze starts screaming again. Oreva switches it off once more, and again, Osaze quiets down. At that point, Oreva realizes that Osaze doesn't like light. After that, Blessing leaves. Oreva introduces herself to Osaze, but he doesn't respond. From there on, Oreva begins to bond with Osaze. She genuinely cares about him. Eventually, she discovers that despite his autism, he is incredibly intelligent. Osaze doesn't speak to anyone. He seems mute. Oreva also notices that he enjoys looking out the window, and she realizes he probably wants to go outside, but is never given the chance. Not knowing that he isn't allowed outdoors, Oreva takes Osaze outside. Mrs. Idahosa sees them and scolds Oreva harshly, telling her that she's not allowed to take Osaze outside. She also reprimands Blessing for not informing Oreva. Mrs. Idahosa then tells Oreva to take Osaze back inside and instructs Blessing to explain all the house rules to her. She warns that if Oreva breaks the rules again, she will be fired. Oreva is shocked and saddened by how poorly the family treats Osaze. Back inside, Blessing explains how things work in the house. It's during this time that Oreva realizes Osaze is actually Mr. Idahosa's son. Until then, she had thought he was just a relative living with them. She is very surprised. Later, when Oreva got home, she shared everything with Minnie. Minnie was also shocked because, like everyone else, she believed Mr. Idahosa had only one son, Nonso. Minnie says it's probably for the best that the family keeps it hidden, as it's shameful to have a child with autism. Oreva firmly tells Minnie never to say that again because Osaze didn't choose to be born with his condition. Minnie goes quiet. Oreva continues her work with great care. One day, Osaze was screaming loudly. Oreva wondered why, since the lights were off. Then her phone started ringing, and the music she had set as a ringtone played. Osaze immediately calmed down. That's when Oreva realized Osaze loves music. Osaze had trouble solving a Rubik's Cube. Oreva took it and solved it in seconds, leaving Osaze completely amazed. It's clear that Oreva truly cares about Osaze. She even records things happening outside to show him, since he's not allowed to go out. When she shows him the videos, he watches them and smiles. One day, Oreva overheard Nonso talking to his fiancée. She asked if he had any siblings, and Nonso replied, "No, I'm the only son." Oreva looked at him with deep sadness, wondering why Nonso would deny his own brother. Another day, Oreva went out with Minnie and unexpectedly ran into Nonso. She refused to greet him and instead confronted him, asking why he denied having a younger brother. She told him she had overheard his conversation with his girlfriend and was hurt by his words. That was why she had grown to dislike the entire family, though she still worked there. Minnie remained quiet while Nonso said his goodbyes and left. The truth is, Nonso actually loves his brother deeply, but his father forbids him from getting close to Osaze. On another day, when Oreva arrived at work, she found Nonso coming out of Osaze's room. She asked him what he was doing there, since he never visits. Nonso replied, "I came to see my brother. I love him very much." Oreva challenged him, "You deny Osaze in front of people, yet now you say you love him?" Then she walked into Osaze's room and saw a childhood photo of Osaze and Nonso. They looked so happy. She was confused. What could have caused Nonso to change so much? Days passed, and since Oreva started working there, Osaze had never spoken. But today, for the first time, he spoke. Oreva was so surprised. She went to the living room to tell the family, but instead of celebrating, Mr. Idahosa scolded her. He didn't want to hear anything about his autism son. Oreva was shocked as both Mr. and Mrs. Idahosa left the room angrily. Nonso told Oreva that nothing about Osaze would ever bring joy to their parents. He said their parents don't love Osaze at all. Oreva was stunned but stayed quiet. One day, Oreva found Osaze seriously ill. She tried calling his parents, but they didn't answer. Meanwhile, Mr. Idahosa and his family were in the car. Mrs. Idahosa noticed missed calls from Oreva and called her back. She asked what was going on, and Oreva told her that Osaze was very sick and she had taken him to the hospital. Mr. Idahosa was furious when he heard Osaze had been taken out of the house. Mrs. Idahosa tried to calm her husband down. Nonso told his father they needed to go to the hospital, but Mr. Idahosa refused, saying, "We're not doctors." He also didn't want Osaze's name registered at the hospital because it would link him as his son. Nonso was upset but couldn't say anything. Because Oreva had taken Osaze to the hospital without permission, Mrs. Idahosa fired her. Oreva expressed her heartbreak over how the family mistreated Osaze, but that didn't change anything. She was fired, although she was given a large amount of money in appreciation for taking good care of Osaze. She then left. After Oreva's leaving, Blessing resumed taking care of Osaze, but she treated him very badly. One day, for the first time, Osaze's mother overheard her mistreating him. She slapped Blessing and fired her immediately. This marked a turning point. Mrs. Idahosa had started to connect with her son, influenced by the words Oreva had spoken. Days passed. Mr. Idahosa was seen talking with Nonso, praising him for his excellent work at the office. He told Nonso that he would inherit all his wealth. But Nonso told his father that the real brain behind the company's success was Osaze. He praised his brother's intelligence and contributions. Mr. Idahosa didn't believe it and went to Osaze's room. Osaze was clearly afraid of his father. Mr. Idahosa found important company documents in Osaze's room and questioned Nonso about why they were there. Nonso replied, "I'm the one with the education, but Osaze is the brain behind the company's success." Still, Mr. Idahosa didn't believe him. The next day, they called Osaze to the living room and asked him to present their new project. Osaze gave a thorough and impressive explanation. Mr. Idahosa was shocked and deeply ashamed. Right there, he apologized to Osaze. Nonso also said they needed to find Oreva and thank her, because without her, none of this would have been revealed. A few days later, Osaze's birthday arrived. For the first time ever, they threw him a party. Mr. Idahosa proudly celebrated his son. Guests were invited, and during the celebration, Nonso told Osaze he had a surprise for him after the party. The family celebrated joyfully. After the party, Nonso took Osaze to see Oreva. The moment Osaze saw her, he smiled and hugged her. The three of them also hugged. Osaze's family had finally started to care for him, and all because of Oreva. And that's the end of our movie, titled Special. I'm Evans, and this is Nollywood Recapped. Please subscribe for more Nigerian recaps.